What is good, ladies and gentlemen? After a long hiatus, I am back on YouTube. Got a little rebrand, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if y'all like those graphics, you know what I'm saying? But hey, we're back. Premier League is back. It's been 3 weeks in, match week 3. We're going to break down match week 3. I have some amazing guests. These fellas know ball. So everyone who is with me, make sure to hit the like button for me. Hit the subscribe button. We're like 2 subscribers away from 350. So the people who do come and watch, make sure to hit the like button for me, hit the subscribe button, get me to 350K, and then we'll push on to 400. I'm going to kick it off right now with my guy, Andy, who's in the building. My guy, what is good?
What's up, Temi?
Hey,
it's been a while, man.
It's been a minute, man. Hey, it's been a minute, but I'm glad to see you. We're going to definitely talk Chelsea football. You already know that. I got my other brother with me, my Manchester United brother. You know what I'm saying? I had to bring him on the channel for the first time. A good brother of mine. Shout out to my guy, Staffy. What is good, bro?
What's going on, man? Thank you for having me, bro.
Hey, love, bro. Love. You already know. Then I have a Man City fan. You have to know I rock with this guy from bringing a Man City fan on the channel. You know what I'm saying? You know I have to rock with this guy. So I'm bringing on my guy, Vator. What is good, bro? You're on mute. You're on mute.
What it is. I couldn't miss the show. I'm going to be barbecuing y'all as well as barbecuing for my family. Let's get it.
Hey, appreciate you, man. There's so much to cover. It was a crazy weekend, man. It was a crazy weekend. I think I'm going to start off with the Friday game. I'm going to start off with Chelsea. You know what I'm saying? Start off with Chelsea because I got my guy Andy here. Big 3-0 win against Luton Town. I watched the whole game, man, and I was very impressed with what I saw. I'm going to let you take it away, though, Andy. What were your biggest takeaways on that particular game?
Well, first and foremost, this blue is for Chelsea. It's not the sky blue for whatever that other team that's.
Hey, you look good in it, man. You look good in it.
You know, this was I loved it. This was one of those games where we did what we were supposed to do, which, like, as a Chelsea fan, has not happened. Like, last year was a grind just to get through it. You get down, like, they're just promoted. We should stomp them. We did stomp them. I thought we looked really good. Sterling looked amazing, which it was probably his best game in a Chelsea kit that I've seen.
I was going to ask you that. I was going to ask you, was that Sterling's best game in a Chelsea kit? That was one of my first question to you.
Yeah, he looked good. You Chelsea fans, stop asking for your money back. You got him.
He was asking for refunds. They was asking for refunds.
Yeah, they were.
They're talking crazy.
They were asking for refunds. That is
these guys have been starving.
That is true.
He looked nice, man. And what I liked about him, and the thing that's been bothering me, is he looked like he wanted to score a goal. We have so many creative attackers, but we need somebody who, when they get into the attacking third, wants to put it in the back of the net. And he looked like he was doing that. His first goal was awesome. And then the setup to Nico at the end, even though it got a deflection on the cross, we don't count that. It was great. It was fluid football. It was good. It was a game that it brought me back to the last time we won the Prem, when going into a game, this should happen, and it actually goes that way. So it was reassuring, and I'm obviously thinking we're going to win the league now.
Hey, I have to ask you. I have to ask the guys, though, because this was my biggest takeaway. Enzo Fernandez is worth all that money. He is cold. Like, he is actually – all of these 100 million signings – most of them have not worked. Like, if we look through the history of them, most of them actually have not worked. I'll give it to Harry. Harry Kane's going to work, even though that just got signed. I'll give it to Jack Grealish. That has worked. The rest of them, it's just, who knows? But I'll ask you, Staffy, what do you think about Enzo? You know, as a player, he was unreal against Luton Town. What did you think about? What do you think about him?
See, I didn't want to talk about that. I was hoping you don't ask me, because when I look at my team, we don't have an Enzo, you know.
No.
And this is big up Omar in the comments.
Big up Omar, man.
We needed an Enzo in this team, and you know, I didn't really know much of Enzo up until the World Cup. Watched him a bit, you know. Then he went to Chelsea, and I'm getting to know him basically in the last 6 months. And what an absolute, I don't even know how to describe him. Just a wonderful, do I even, can I say world-class talent? Yeah, I think I could say world-class talent.
Definitely world-class talent.
I'm not gonna call him world-class player yet because he does have the talent. See, Vader, I got you here. I got you. Vader was like, he's moving crazy, but I did call it world-class
No. Your
talent.
wordplay was nice. I got you. Your wordplay was nice.
I see you there. So no, I think it's definitely easy to call him a world-class talent. He could become a world-class player in a couple years when his overall game improves. But in terms of the skill set that he has, the intelligence that he plays with, the passing range that he has, even the volume of passing, like you when you watch him, it just the ball is always going to him and it's coming out of his leg. Like he's always passing the ball, and it's just like the way he moves is just so silky sometimes. I'm absolutely jealous watching him. You know, I used to think it's crazy that they spent 120 million for him. Still a little bit too pricey, but I think in a couple years, with inflation and with the player he becomes, I think we will understand why Todd Bowley went for him I'm not saying it's cheap, but like cheaper compared to how much he could be sold when he's actually in his prime. So absolutely fantastic player.
And that's the thing. It's like Chelsea, I feel like his value is still it's not like a player like where it's like a João Felix situation where they're never going to get 100 million pounds for João Felix or whatever whatever Atletico spent on him. Right. Like they could sell him for 150 in 3 years, maybe if he keeps at this pace. So it's a very interesting one. But Vader, I'm going to ask you, you're the Raheem Sterling. You're a Raheem Sterling expert, as a City fan.
Yep.
What were your thoughts? What are your thoughts on him this season? What he can be, because he looked, that first goal specifically was cold. Like they gave an assist to Malo Gusto, but that was all Sterling. Like I don't know, you know what I mean? That was ridiculous. What do you think he can be? Can he get back to that City form?
I don't want him to get to that form. I'm not gonna lie. I don't want him to touch anything near that form over at Chelsea. But he's a volumes guy. That's the thing. When Sterling's getting his reps, like he's getting his play time, that's when he's at his best. Because he knows what he wants to do as soon as he gets the ball, how he wants to make defenders have to react. And it didn't happen for him year one. I was telling, like I joked about, Chelsea fans were like, I want my money back. Where's my refund? I was like, yo, give it time, man. Give it time, because the man is quality. He's obviously motivated, the way he was playing, and the fact that he was like relentless, and he was relentless with no Reece James either. Like he was there on that right hand side attacking. I think he's going to be a problem. I'm not going to lie. I think he's going to be a real problem. And on top of that, if the fan base calm down and allow him to put in that work, they're going to turn around. It's going to be a 180. They're going to be praising his name and saying like, this is the attacking player that we need. And to go back, even talked about Enzo earlier. I know that some want to while out about Gallagher being in that midfield, but him chasing everything down and being all over that pitch is perfect for Enzo, because Enzo can just get that ball, scan, and deliver, and have someone else work their butt off with regards to covering the ground. I think Enzo is going to be another quality. I don't raise my eyebrows at Chelsea anymore. 120, whatever. That's like them dropping change out of their pockets.
I know.
Enzo is going to be a quality. He's going to be a quality player as well.
Yeah, man. And just to wrap it up, and we'll move on to the next one. I'll give it to Andy. But hey, I was really impressed with that right back, man. Malo Gusto, man. Like I don't think you guys are gonna miss Reece James, man.
Well.
I don't know.
Reece James is the best right back in the world in my mind. So I do miss him, but you're right. Like Gusto coming in, he looked amazing during preseason, and the fact that he now has the responsibilities of a regular starter at this point, he's just grabbing the bull by the horns. He's looked great. I'm very excited for what he does. I think Vader brought up a good point. Him and Sterling, even though he got the assist, like they seem to have a good chemistry on that side. I really like him. I think he puts in a good tackle. I think he can put in a good ball. And now it's like it went from a nice to have as a Reece James, competition replacement to we need him, and he's stepping up. So I still want Reece back, but
facts.
Yeah.
I was highly impressed. That's all I'll say. I was highly impressed. We'll move on to the next game. I'll move on to the City game. I want to talk about the City game. That's what I really want to talk about because hey,
let's get it.
This is the part where I mute Vader, by the way. I don't listen to
man.
him
This
when it
is
comes
like
to city sections.
This
I'm
is
used to
Nah,
Vader,
man,
by
yo,
the way.
come on,
why are
Staffy.
y'all so
I
lucky,
drop out
man?
when it's city sections, and then I come back when Vader is done. That's what we do here.
Why are y'all so lucky, Vader? Like, listen, I feel
Lucky.
like yes, lucky. Okay, so just for those who didn't watch the game, obviously City dominated like normal, created tons of chances, but Sheffield United had y'all on the ropes. And that 83rd minute, beautiful strike by what was it? Oh, I can't remember. Bogle or something, like whatever his name is, something Bogle. And just
see
every time I think City are gonna drop points, just something magical happens, and it gets on my last nerve. Talk to me about that game, Vader.
This is the problem. This is why I like you and dislike you at the same time. Because you want to talk about they had us on the ropes. Listen, they had a moment of brilliance at the end of that game. They had no one on ropes.
For Sheffield United, that's having you on ropes.
Oh my goodness. Honestly, I think the game could have been a lot worse. That score line flattered Sheffield. Sheffield. I mean, it's funny to say, but Holland doesn't have his shooting boots yet.
No,
there was some fantastic saves, some unfortunate, maybe a little too easy of taking shots. Like the shots were just placed on net as opposed to placed, right? But I think
don't forget that.
Yeah, he missed it. Unfortunately, he didn't get a nice rebound like Mo Salah got a couple days ago. But yeah, he had missed that PK, and was surprised by it as well. But listen, I've said this: Holland, he's not a robot. He's a cyborg. He's part human, part robotic. He's not perfect. He's not flawless. He showed a cyborg part of him in that game, hitting that post. But he's about to figure it out, because we're figuring this out without KDB. And if you want to mention us being lucky, yeah, we were lucky. We had no Pep on that sideline. Pep was talking. He's giving earbuds to the coaching staff, trying to have them change things up. We didn't have him barking orders the way he would normally do on that sideline. Looking at that game, and I don't know if you watched the entire game, but I would dare to say that is the most amount of outside shots I've ever seen from a Pep team. And it's because Pep was on that sideline. Walker took outside range. Rodri took 2 or 3.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it was a little too much. Even Kovacic, I think, took an outside shot. It was a little too much. But Sheffield United, quality in terms of how they approach, I think we're going to expect that from many teams. Like they're not really going to come out and play, and rightfully so. We can't expect every team to do that. But it was quick to see that they were trying to defend, maybe get that quick outlet pass into the midfield, and then they were going over top, trying to catch us on the break. I'm saying it right now, man. I know it's 3 games in, but Gavardio,
he's cold. He's cold. I've been on that. Yeah, he's cold. That was a no-brainer. That's another £100 million signing that's gonna work. Like it's just ridiculous.
I saw how he was handling that other side. And talk about just feeling calm, whether he was off the ball or on the ball.
21? He's 21?
Yo, he's 21, man. He's 21.
It's crazy.
I don't know where the branding's going to go.
It doesn't make sense. Oh my goodness. Transfer show on Wednesday, guys. Just be on the lookout for that. We'll talk. I don't want to talk about transfers.
Yeah, that's going to be a hype show. That's going to be a hype show.
Transfer show on Wednesday. I'm gonna have some guests with us. But hey, I'm just gonna say this. I'm gonna ask Staffy. I know he doesn't want to do this, but they just even when they're back, they had every reason to draw that game. City were missing, like Vader said, a lot of outside shots. They dominated as usual. Holland missed a penalty. Everything was lined up for them to drop points that game, even though obviously they played the way they always play. They dominated, but like everything was lined up for them to drop points. If that was Manchester United, we would have dropped points. Like probably, that's, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are your thoughts on, City right now, that match specifically, and what you saw specifically?
I don't think they're lucky like you said earlier. I actually agree with Vader. I think it could have been ugly for Sheffield. I'm actually going to tell you a crazy stat. Um, the whole Sheffield team had about 80 passes more than Rodri.
That's crazy.
Do you understand? Look at Vader laughing.
That's literally crazy.
Look at Vader laughing.
That's outrageous.
A whole team of 11 players had 180 something passes. Roger on his own had 108. By the way, he completed 108 of his 110 attempted passes. So the guy misplaced 2 passes.
Yeah, he had a ridiculous game. Listen, when I say lucky, I'm like you have like I'm putting into perspective that it's Sheffield, because I'm putting into perspective that it's Sheffield, and realistically, like they shouldn't even like you said, they should have like City should have been up 2 or 3, but they weren't doing what they had to do.
Yeah. Listen, they could have easily drawn this game because it was a silly mistake from Kyle Walker. Let's be very honest. City's still the one team to concede 0 big chances in 3 games. They've conceded 0 big chances, which shows me that this team so far this season is built on solid defense. And when you say solid defense, people usually associate it with like just a defense that concedes a lot of shots and or a lot of chances and they deal with it. No, it's absolutely the opposite. Their defense is so sound that you're not going to see their goalkeeper. We're going to forget how Ederson looks like in most games. We're going to have to check on him or something, because we're going to be like, yo, is he on the pitch? What is he? They should add this. I'll tell you this, add this to bets. Be like, what color jersey is he wearing today? Because we're not going to see him until like, I don't know when, so you have about 20 minutes to figure out what color jersey he's wearing today. That could be a new bet. When they do it with the Gatorade ones in the Super Bowl, they're playing absolutely amazing. I think they're lacking a little bit of creativity in terms of just losing De Bruyne. Like they're dominating the ball, but you can dominate the ball without really being, like that effective and having that cutting edge. Exactly. Yeah. So Haaland, he doesn't really create these changes to himself. He needs someone to still supply him the ball, and especially that they're playing 4 in the back right now. I think they're really missing Stones. Once Stones inverts in that midfield, I mean, they're already dominating the ball. But when Stones is back,
they were missing. Akanji was doing that role too, and he got hurt. Right? Am I wrong about that, Vader?
No, but Akanji doesn't invert into the midfield. I'm talking about the center back who inverts into the midfield. You know what I'm saying?
Akanji did that, right? He was doing that.
Early season settings, Pep was like, "Let me see what Akanji can do." He actually had him playing center back and moving a little forward into that midfield. But yeah, he unfortunately got injured. The creativity is lacking. Staffy is 100% right, and it's going to be that way with no KDB in particular because we've been so reliant on him, and the fact that we also lost Gundogan in terms of that midfield. But honestly, I know my Chelsea man up there in that corner. Thank you for Kovacic.
Yeah,
thank you for him, man.
Give it time. It's like the opposite of Sterling. Give it time. You'll be asking for a replacement.
What a hater.
Oh man. Hey, Andy, I'm gonna ask you about that midfield of Rodri and Kovacic. First of all, I love Kovacic. Like I wanted Kovacic at Man United for this. I wanted him for so long. And now that Rodri and Kovacic are in a midfield together, I feel like that is the most like ball retention type. Like I can't even like the ball retention in that midfield is outrageous. But let's talk about Rodri though, because I think there's no questions anymore that he's the best DM in the world. Like, and I'm saying this as a Man United fan. Like, it hurts me to say it, but he's ridiculous.
Who's in contention for that? Because you can't overlook his offensive contribution either, because he's a big goal scoring guy and he's a holding mid and he's great at his job. But if he needs to go get a goal, he can go get a goal. That is so hard to come by. Like when we had like our best DM maybe ever, there's an argument to be had, but like Conte in his prime, to get him to score a big goal was like you're asking for a lot. Yeah. But for Rodri, it's like that's in his bag. That's in his bag, and it's so scary.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. That goal he scored, by the way, a missed touch by Foden, and he
missed Foden. That was a pass.
That was not a pass.
It was a pass in fantasy Premier League only counted it, but we know it's not. I was happy though.
Terrible touch.
I'm being shameless.
I have Foden in fantasy, so I was happy that pass.
He just laced it. He just laced it. Like, I mean, that keeper had I think his name was Fotheringham or something like that.
Go back and watch that highlight. Go back and watch that highlight. When Walker is on the outside of the 18-yard box on the wing, Rodri's he's already calling for the ball. Like he's calling it the foot. And it happens to go to Foden. Foden missed catch, and Rodri wanted that ball from time. He wanted it early. So he's looking for those goals right now, and it's making him nasty. What I'm kind of hoping for, and going back to the Kovacic part, is I'm hoping that the two of them can sometimes like play symmetrical in terms of one going up, one deciding to hold a little bit, like them choosing when to do it during gameplay, and then we can be like so even in terms of the pitch. If they can get that combination going, because honestly, I do trust Kovacic to maybe be in that place to sniff out some danger defensively as well. But they're looking good, man. They're looking good, and it's all bonus. Winning games early for us. I know you United fans, Chelsea fans, you don't want to hear it. Arsenal fans definitely don't want to hear this. But us winning games comfortably early in the season. Ooh, long settings, man. Long settings for the entire year.
Well, this wasn't one of them. Let's be clear, because you definitely didn't win this one early. I don't know what you're talking about, but I do get what you're saying.
And it wasn't comfortable. And it wasn't comfortable.
I mean us winning games
Oh,
early in the season.
Picking up early points. I thought you was talking about in the 90 minutes. I was like, yo, the cooking that's going on. Maybe you're smelling that cooking is like making you lose your mind.
Oh, man.
See, I know that smells good right there.
I know my man chefing up, but let's move on to the next matchup. The primetime matchup of the week was Liverpool versus Newcastle, and it did not disappoint. A lot of crazy things happened in that matchup. I cannot wrap my head around how Newcastle choked that game.
Embarrassing, absolutely
embarrassing. Like I've given Newcastle a lot of credit in the past year. But losing to Liverpool in that way, giving Liverpool that confidence, honestly pissed me off. Like, it pissed me off tremendously. Like, giving Darwin Núñez that level of confidence pissed me off tremendously. I'll start with Andy, bro. How did Newcastle choke that game? How does that happen?
I think it's a telltale sign that they're not legit. Like, I went into the season expecting a lot from Newcastle. You don't have a game like this if you actually think you're going to be hunting for the league and a comfortable top 4 finish. Like, I think it was like they got exposed as a team, not just for this game, for like the whole season. Like, I now think that Chelsea finishing top 4 is a possibility, because I think one of my preseason top 4s just got knocked out.
Of course,
and I don't think Liverpool's a good team. Like, I don't think they're bad. They're still Liverpool. But you're talking about a Van Dijk-less Liverpool, and Newcastle can't put them away. They're not a threat to me. Like, I don't think we'll beat them twice, but they're not a threat to me season long.
Yeah, Allison was ridiculous. Allison did have a very good game. And I'm hearing that my guy Blim comments all the way from South Africa. But yeah, like, this is, there's just too many things that went, like, so many missed chances. There was some layups they missed. Harvey Barnes was really poor when he came on. Like, there was a lot of different, like, so many things I saw. And then, I mean, I'll give Darwin Núñez credit. But at the same time, Sven Botman, both of those goals were just horrendous mistakes. I was having, shout out to my girl, Kendall. You know what I'm saying? A couple weeks ago, she was saying, Sven, Lissandro isn't as good as any of their center backs. Stop it. Stop it. Sven Botman had
so don't shout her out then. Listen, sorry, Kendall, you gotta have to take that L.
Had a nightmare. That was terrible. The first goal, like, the ball like ricochets off his back foot, hits his ass, and he's fucking. And then Darwin Núñez is in on goal. The goal before that, another slowed on the ball. Like, it's just literal mistake. And now Liverpool has some confidence. Like, they're gonna miss Van Dijk for what was it, 3 games?
Nah, it's 1.
Honestly, the way was it?
Is it 1?
Yeah,
it's 2.
Absolutely embarrassing. No, it's 1.
Isn't it? It was a straight red.
Yeah, but it's only 1 because it's
they
not
changed
endangering the player. No, because it wasn't endangering. Even though he should have gotten, a either 2 or 3. I forgot it was, because he was arguing with the ref and he didn't want to.
Was he?
Yeah, he actually swore at the ref. So people were saying, how come he got away for this? When let's be very honest, and this is not even a United agenda, but if Bruno was complaining with the ref, he easily gets he easily gets a couple game ban, because not only did he get a straight red, that's what Triple I'm saying. Yeah, it wasn't violent conduct, so it's only 1. But for protesting basically to the ref, he should have gotten more. but he got
Yeah,
away with it.
no, I'm gonna ask this question I'll ask this question to you, Staffy. For Liverpool's sake, like, do you think this is a move that propels them going forward this season? Because I didn't think they were. I said they were going to make top four. Then just looking at their lineup, I thought it was a lot of chopping and changing in terms of, it's a completely new midfield, like it's brand new. Will this propel them, into a potential top four bid this season?
I'm gonna stay consistent with what I said because nothing that I've seen in the first 3 games have surprised me from Liverpool. They got the points, but they didn't get the performance. That's another 3 points that they picked up where they didn't play well, for so many reasons. I am not putting them in my top 4. I refuse to put them in my top 4. You can pick up the points and you can celebrate the points. I said what they did yesterday in terms of personality, picking up 3 hard points after being 10 men down and all that. I'll give them props for that. Going away to St. James Park, that's probably going to be 3 points that we're not going to collect, Temi, if I'm being very honest with you. However, let's be very honest. Newcastle lost this game. Liverpool didn't win it. That's how I'm looking at that. Harvey Barnes does not cross that ball to Callum Wilson. So 2 minutes later, Nunez scores. Listen, the change was correct. I'll give club props for that. Making the right change at the right time, knowing when to take his risk. When you're boxing and you're just defending the whole time. Boxer just like protecting his face, protecting his body. And then later in the round, when he knows, okay, this is when I could start coming out and attacking, I'm at this wise my shots. That's what Club did. He just shielded his body the whole time. He shielded his face. He got far. It was still 1-0. Should have been a lot more. Not a lot more, sorry, but it should have been at least 2-3-0 if you're taking advantage of the 1 man down. They didn't do that. He made the right change. He brought on a striker who's more about pace and power. Took out Gakpo, who wasn't really involved in the game, and 2 balls played in behind the defenders, and he goes in and scores. Both goals look the same anyways. It's copy-paste goals. They were played the same way. One was behind Botman. Yeah, there was a little bit of luck, but there's always luck involved in football. You have to, if you're attempting, you deserve the luck. That's what I always say. If you're trying and you get lucky, you deserve it. So they played the same ball twice. The same one was for Botman, behind Botman. One was behind Dan Burn. And Nunez did what he was supposed to do. So they picked up the points. The performance is not convincing. They're pretending that they have a lot of injuries. Let's be very honest. Konate being injured, I get that. That kind of hinders them a little bit. But Gomez did a decent job when he came on. But other than that, midfield, people are like, well, Thiago's injured. Thiago's not going to start in that midfield as it is anyways. So let's not act like Thiago would have started as a third midfielder when they had Endo, who's the only DM that they have, Szoboszlai, and McAllister. So they can sit here and make all the excuses they want. It's probably an edit agenda, if I'm being honest, because I don't like them anyways. But they're not finishing the top 4, and I'm down on that hill alone. I don't care.
I'm so with you. Vator, I have a question regarding Newcastle, and then we'll move on to the next game. Regarding Newcastle, I think they've done a great job of building out their squad in a way that they've just got a lot of solid players. They just have a bunch of guys. You know what I mean? That's what I like to say. And they got top 4 doing that. But I think what yesterday showed me is they might need to make an actual splash, especially in those wide positions. Like, yes, you've gotten Harvey Barnes. Yes, you've gotten Gordon. I love Miggy Almiron. He just works his socks off, does the right things, puts on his lunch pail. I think there's a quality deficiency now in terms of how, if they can get to that next step. What do you think they need to do in terms of improving their team?
Listen, man, I said this on my show. When you think of Newcastle, there's no worry factor. There's no really fear factor when you think of, man, I'm worried about that midfield, or I'm worried about what they have up front. Like, I don't think the ops are having sleepless nights worrying about them, right? And is it because of the personnel, or is it the manager? Like, does the manager need to come up with something a little more creative in terms of making them attacking threats? I think it is a matter of just a lack of quality. It is a matter of a lack of quality, and I'm gonna butcher his name. Tenali. I think they need more of that. They need more of that, and I think they might be a season out before you can confidently say, you know what, they're easily top 4 and they're going to be making moves for a cup. I think they're a season out. And honestly, they missed an opportunity. They missed an opportunity mentally. They missed an opportunity to kind of like put a stamp on the league and say, we're here, because you're up a man against Liverpool, man. Like, it's unacceptable.
You gotta close it out.
And the same way Staffy was talking about praising what Klopp did in terms of, the subs. I got to question Eddie Howe, man. Like, Eddie didn't play that to win it. He didn't play that to like, listen, I'm gonna put my foot on your neck, and we'll see what it means to them moving forward.
Go ahead, Andy.
It's perfect in the boxing example. Like you mentioned how it helped the fighter who was just defending himself. If you're a fighter and you see somebody wobbling, you don't give them 100%. A chance to come back. You put them to bed. And if you're a top 4 team in the Premier League, that's what you do. And the fact that they had that opportunity and didn't do it, again, I think it exposed them.
Yeah, we'll move on to Arsenal Fulham. Another interesting matchup. Arsenal drop points. Another goal for them getting scored at home in the first minute of the game. It is crazy. I've never seen a team do this so often. That's supposed to be a title-winning team, right, or a title-contending team. I'm just gonna say right. I'm gonna start with Andy. I'm gonna say right out of the gate. Arsenal are fugazi. They are not winning shit this year. Like, they are not winning anything this year. They are unbalanced. I think they have a team that's good. They have really, really good players, but they don't have this. They don't have this. You know what I mean? They don't have that mentality, because it's unacceptable how they choke time in and time again at home of all things. Andy, what were your thoughts on the draw for Arsenal? Are they ready to actually make another title run?
No, I don't think Arsenal is ready. I think they had their chance last year. I think they blew it. In my mind, this was classic Arsenal. And when you draw against Fulham at home, it's just like, again, when teams are supposed to do something, I always it's just like the expectations. I'm a big teams are supposed to do this. It's kind of like City. City was down in the 80th or tied in the 80th. Guess what? City does what City's supposed to do. And a team like Arsenal does it. And Chelsea's the same way. I want to make that clear. When we get to the 80th and we're tied, I'm not expecting a goal to win it all. And I think Arsenal's in that same camp. I think City's a level above that. And I think it takes games like this where you're at home, you're playing who's supposed to be a worse team, you're supposed to go get all 3 points.
Facts.
And unfortunately, Arsenal does this way too often to be able to be a true title contender, in my mind. Are they top 4? Probably. But title, it's games like this that lose you the title.
Facts. Not to mention Calvin Bassey gets sent off. Like they're down 10, Fulham's down 10 men, and they can't close the deal. It's crazy to me how their fan base gets so excited, so giddy over the littlest things, like a title challenge last season. You know what I mean? But they're not who they think they are. I'm gonna be real. They are not. They're a top 4 team. That's what they are. You know what I'm saying? They are a top 4 team. Let's look at Triple M's comment. Arsenal system also collapsed very easily after they lost Zinchenko. Without him or Timber inverting their systems, absolutely. Yeah, they're definitely missing Yuri and Timber for sure. They're definitely missing They're missing an extra body in midfield, right? Because having Havertz in midfield, Havertz,
not really,
Declan
Temi.
Rice.
That's what Partey's doing. That's why.
Yeah, I'm saying like that. It doesn't work with Partey. What, in my opinion, it should be Partey, Declan Rice, and then either Havertz or Odegaard. It's probably going to be Odegaard as that number.
No, but they're always going to have someone inverting into that midfield. The reason they're using Partey in the right back is because they want him to invert to make up for the lack of Zinchenko.
Exactly.
I think if Zinchenko's back and fit and ready, Partey moves back to the midfield. Zinchenko
does he though?
Inverts in,
because I think they're trying to. They're trying to force this Havertz thing. Let's be real.
But that's the thing. I don't think you can sacrifice Partey for Havertz. And this is going to be interesting because I don't think next game they'll afford to do that with Zinchenko. You don't want to put on Zinchenko, who's unfit and not match ready, against Anthony or whoever it is. It doesn't really matter. I mean, Anthony's not a world beater right now, but still, like he had 3 games under his belt while Zinchenko has none.
Anthony will cook Zinchenko.
He would, because I will tell you, he's not even that good defensively. And Anthony, that's what I'm saying. He's not tearing trees down, but like if you give him a weak Zinchenko, who's already inverting, so he's leaving a lot of space. I'm telling you, that's money. That's money 100%. You know, Temi might change his mind on Anthony just because of that game that day. So there's a lot that they need to consider, because like what are you doing moving forward? Forget the United game. What are you choosing to do moving forward? Are you gonna persist with inverting someone from the defenders? And is it always gonna be Partey if Zinchenko's not available? Because Zinchenko, I'll tell you that Vator would tell you himself, because he had Zinchenko for a few years. This guy can never stay fit. He has like 3-4 injuries a season anyways, you know?
Yeah, I'm just, listen, I think that Arteta has an idea of, and I'm going to put this comment back up, I think Havertz gets dropped if everyone's fit. I don't think so. I really don't. I don't think he's getting dropped. I don't think it's like the Mason Mount thing. It's like the Mason Mount thing. I don't think you spend 70+ million or 60+ million on a player to drop them 3 games into the season. That's not going to happen. It's like, I just don't see that happening, right? I think he's going to persist no later than January with Havertz, unless injuries happens and things like that. I think he's going to persist with Havertz.
But
I think he has this.
Here's the thing, Temi. You can never see, and I'll say this confidently, you won't see Partey, Zinchenko, Havertz on the pitch at the same time.
I agree with
so
that.
many reasons.
I'm not disagreeing.
But then who gets
with
sacrificed? That's the thing.
That's what I know. It's not going to be Havertz. That's what I'm trying to tell you. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Because I don't think it should be Partey, because I think he's still their best midfielder.
We're on the same page.
If Zinchenko doesn't play and you play traditional left back who can play as a left center back,
you don't have the inverted.
No, not even that. You just loaned him to Real Sociedad because that was tyranny. Mm-hmm. So is it going to be Tomiyasu? There's so many questions that need to be answered, and I'm gonna be very honest. If Arsenal don't pick up 3 points against us next week, and these questions will still be unanswered, bro, get ready. Remember the Arteta out shirts. We might see them again, bro. That's all I'm saying.
Staffy. Okay,
get ready.
Staffy, let me put it into perspective for you like this. I know how you felt about the Mason Mount deal, right? Did you think if Mason Mount did not get injured, did you actually think Ten Hag was going to drop him 3 months in? Did you think that was going to happen? No.
And that's why, if you remember,
it's the same thing as Havertz. It's the same thing as Havertz.
I said I was pissed that he got injured because I was very interested to see what did he do game 3. I was like, would he take him out, or does he bring in Eriksen? I wanted to see his decision making, but unfortunately he got injured, so it was obvious he had to bring in Eriksen. So I can never know, but it's all hindsight. You know what I'm saying? Like now I'm sitting there, I'm like, you know, I wish he was just healthy for one more game. Not because I want to see him play. I just want to know what was Ten Hag gonna do. And that's the same thing now applying to Arteta. How do you fix this? I see people saying, let's go back to what we did last season. Okay, but that's an easy fix. You can do that one game. Is that showing you that Arteta trusts this new system that he's trying to play against small teams only? But then when he goes to the big 6, he's always going to change it. So when he plays City, he's going to go back to last season. When he goes to United, when he goes to Chelsea, when he goes to Spurs, he's going to go back to how he played last season. That tells you a lot about your manager. And I don't think Arteta is that guy, because I'll tell you what, Pep, and Vator will tell you that, Pep rarely gives up the style of play that he plays depending on the opponent. He likes to play his style. He'll make a few tweaks in terms of personnel, but the system is the same. And this is why I'm interested to see how Arteta does, because I'll tell you something. He either makes or breaks himself moving forward in these next few games.
Because of Havertz.
A lot of people are on his neck right now. And if he persists with it and it works, he's a genius. He's a mini Pep. But if it doesn't work, he's always a Pep wannabe that failed. Get him out of the club, and you'll see the Arteta out shirts again. And this next month is going to be crucial for Arsenal. And I promise you, we will see a movie if they don't pick up 3 points.
Oh yeah. AFTV will be popping for sure if it doesn't work out. But Andy, do you understand what are you following me on this?
Welcome to the life of a Chelsea fan. We had both of those guys in our starting 11 for more than a season. It was mind-boggling. And I think what both of you guys are saying is spot on. Staffy, I think you're right. What the hell is Arteta going to do? Is he actually going to do this? I think Timmy's right. I do think he's going to do it because, one, they spend a lot on Havertz, and 2, he must be like one of those guys that just shows class during the training sessions. And I do think he's a good footballer But what's his position and how does he work in a system? I still think that's an unanswerable question at this point.
Facts.
And then I think he's trying to force him to be something he's not. Nobody really knows what he is. But at the end of the day, he's a class footballer, but he just cannot fit into a system. It's very odd. Like when he was at Leverkusen, I just think he could do whatever the hell he wanted and be good at it.
Yeah.
But when you're in the Prem and you're working in an Arteta system or you're working in a Tuchel system, those are systems, and you have to be a cog in the machine in order for it to hum the right way. But it's not humming the right way. But I think there's a reluctancy to pull Havertz. We were playing him in the midfield. We were playing him on the wing. We were playing him as a number 9, and we couldn't figure it out. And we still won the Champions League with him, and he scored the goal. So there's class there, but it's like, I think both of you guys are right. And I think it's going to be a cluster for Arsenal and Arteta to try to figure out. And I'm so happy it's not my problem.
Facts. Hey, we're gonna move on. But the Arsenal conundrum is actually fascinating. I cannot wait to see how it plays out. Are Spurs legit? I've watched all 3 games now, and I'm torn because I think we should have beat them, even though we were poor in our own right. I still think we had a lot of opportunities and just didn't convert. But they look so, what is the word I'm looking for? They look so composed. Like I can't even like, they seem like they lost Harry Kane, and they honestly don't look like they've missed a beat outside of the fact that they have Richarlison up top and they need a new striker. But like everybody else seems to just be, seems to be working comfortably together. And it's interesting to see. What do you think about Spurs so far? Do you think that they can actually make a legitimate run? They look like, and shout out to, this is the perfect word, Spurs look silky. That is literally the exact way to define it right now. They just look like a comfortable team on the ball. What do you think right now, Staffy?
I'm gonna be very honest. I didn't watch their last game. I watched the highlights, but I did watch obviously their game against us. I watched their first game. Let's just say I am impressed. I'm not gonna go over the top like some of Spurs fans saying, "Oh, bar Man City midfield. We have the best midfield in the league." Listen, I rate their midfield. I'm gonna put them as the second best midfield yet. But listen, they're doing a good job right there. And Postecoglou knew what he needed from this team. He did the number one thing he did, which we should have done last season, is bring in a new goalkeeper. That should have always been your first signing when you want to change the style of play. They got rid of Lloris, he's probably as bad as, if not worse than De Gea on the ball. He got Vicario. Vator is laughing, but he knows it's true. Lloris is probably worse than De Gea when it comes to ball passing, and De Gea was horrendous.
Yeah, he's bad.
Replaced a couple defenders, got Udogie, who looks absolutely amazing.
Quality.
With and without the ball, and that's a rare trait right now. We're all talking about our inverting fullbacks. Vader had like Cancelo that he knew he was quality on the ball, but defending, he never trusted him. Same for us when it comes to like maybe Delo. Even Arsenal has Zinchenko. When you look at Udogie, he looks amazing on and off the ball. Van de Ven also. I need to watch a little bit more than him.
I like him.
But he's okay so far. Bissouma, absolutely amazing. He was a total waste last season under Antonio Conte and his fossil football. Madison doing his thing, showing that he was. I don't want to rate Spurs too high, but they are a top 6 team. So he finally got to move up, and he's showing that he has it. So overall, I'm not gonna talk about every player except for Richarlison. Get this guy out. Yeah, this whole team is looking very good. They're keeping the ball. They're playing good football for once. I feel happy for Spurs fans because they watched horrendous football for about 3-4 years, and now they're finally playing good football. I feel like it's still not as good as they think it is, but it's doing the job right now, and they will get better at it. As the more the manager stays, obviously give him a couple more transfer windows, he's going to start replacing some people. Like I think the right back situation for them is not really the best because Emerson and Poor are not it to me. He's probably going to add a little bit more depth. He's going to get a better striker. Imagine if you had Harry Kane, that's actually a shame. But if he replaces now Harry Kane with a proper striker, he's going to see a lot more. So I give them a couple years until they actually, if they trust obviously in Ange and keep him for a couple more transfer windows, they will build something special. But as of now, they're not it. But they're on the upcoming. And it's exciting times for them.
Yeah, Vator.
I do, however, predict them to get better. There's going to be one game where they're going to get better.
Oh, for sure,
because
for
they
sure.
make
The way
a lot
they
of
play,
they
the
make
way
a lot
they
of
played,
mistakes.
yeah, we should have been up 3-0 against them.
100%.
But yeah, Vader,
Yeah.
what do you think about Ange, man? Like I read a bit about him before the season started, and like apparently he's like a superstar. Like everywhere he's been, he's like turned water to wine. That's kind of like
Yeah.
so,
I mean, I see the reason for the excitement with the Spurs fans, right? Like, I think when you do your homework, you kind of look at what his resume is all about. He's legit. Like the fact that Levy took his time and decided to go after this manager, I think speaks volumes for the quality that he can bring. But I'm like Staffy, man. I'm hesitant. New manager bounce. You know what I mean? I will say that they're playing balanced football. It's no longer the Kane show, right? It's no longer the Harry Kane show. But Richarlison, if that's going to be your main target man, your main guy in that center of the attack, they're going to need more. They're going to need more. But are they legit? Depends on what they're legitimizing. Top 6?
And that's the thing. What's their ceiling? What is their actual ceiling? Because I feel like top 4. Actually, I think it's top 5 this season. I think it's wide open. I genuinely believe there's 18 that will be in the top 4. Like I like genuinely. So it's gonna be interesting. Real quick before you go though, I want to shout out my guy Stu. Good brother right here. Good brother. Spurs will have a purple phase of 8 to 10 games. Then you'll see a slight drop off in intensity and opposition adjustment to counter their system. It's natural evolution in new manager teams, and that's good. We'll see. I mean, they've thrown their haymaker, and that's a great point by Stu. They've thrown their haymaker. Andy, do you think that this is just kind of people getting used to the new Spurs?
I think yes, and I think everything you guys are saying is spot on. Like, it's exciting. Temper the expectations. My only caveat, and this would be like a Spurs fan's like dream, would be don't forget when Antonio Conte went 3 in the back in the Prem, because no one caught on to that, and we dusted the league. Now,
but that was different. You guys were immense when it came to defense. You guys weren't even creating that many chances, but you were so solid defensively. And you had David Luiz in them that were actually meant to play with that 3.
And that was Eden Hazard playing as one of the best players in the world. But that was a new manager with a brand new system, and you were expected to get that. Teams start to figure it out. Teams start to game plan for it, and no one did. Granted, I do not think Tottenham's at that place. I don't think the system is that big of a change. It's a change relative to recent Tottenham. It's not a change relative to the entire league. So I do think that it's going to be exciting. They're going to cool off. But I do think if they keep up the style of play, I think they finish top 6. And going into this year, I thought that was going to be
hopeful.
Like the goal, like ideal scenario for them. And now, if they keep this up, I think they're in there. And they're looking exciting.
Yeah, no,
London blue though.
That's it. That is it for sure. That is it for sure. We're gonna wrap up here soon. We're gonna run through some games. I intentionally did not talk about Man United until the end, because me and Staffy talk about Man United literally all day, every day, and I did not want to do that. So yeah, no, let's talk about that game. I went to a bar in DC, great vibes, but immediately the vibes died in there when we went down 2-0 in the first 5 minutes of the game. I literally still cannot believe that happened. Like, imagine a bar full, and then you can hear a penny drop. Like that was the atmosphere. Luckily, we got it over the line at the end. I'll start with Staffy because he is the resident Manchester United fan, but we'll speed it up because I know we gotta wrap up soon. Staffy, the mentality of the team to bounce back was a positive, but then also the mentality of the team to go down 2-0 at home to Nottingham Forest. Just surmise your feelings after you've had some time to not emotionally analyze it.
Yeah, I mean, it was disappointing. I thought it was going to be a long day, honestly. I got flashbacks of Brentford 4-0 last season right away.
Yeah.
And I was waiting for the close-ups from the camera on everyone's face like they did that game, and I'm like, there we go. I was like, if they show the defenders, right away, because that's what they did last year. They showed Maguire and whoever, and then showed Ronaldo. If that happened, I knew we was gonna lose, but it didn't. I was like, maybe it's not as bad as I thought it was gonna be. But then we conceded right away again. And listen, the mentality to come back is always appreciated. You know, when the team comes back from 2-0, whatever the circumstances are, whatever the scenario is, you got to give them respect for that. But you also have to raise questions to why you were down 2-0 with 3-4 minutes on the clock. It's just not acceptable. I went back and analyzed everything that happened, obviously, tactically, how we conceded these goals. We looked a lot better in the second half. We can go over all that with the time that we have left, but the main thing is we can't be starting games looking unbothered like that. We can't be taking Nottingham Forest lightly because we are at home. Because I'll tell you something, City takes a lead on us 2-0 early. That's it. We're not coming back.
It's 6s and 7s.
100%. Arsenal, the same thing. Even Chelsea, even Spurs, big teams coming to Old Trafford. We've lost not too long ago. We lost 6 to Spurs. Remember during lockdown? So we have seen similar scenarios.
Do I remember? Do I remember? That for story time. That's video I made. That time is still the most viewed video on my channel to this day because I lost I literally was almost shedding tears. It was that bad.
It was so bad, and we can't be doing that. Can't be doing that. So I appreciate the mentality, but the mentality needs to be for the 90 minutes. The intensity that we play with, I understand it's hard to do it for 90 minutes, but it has to be, you have to start with it, that's for sure. And you have to last as long as you can in those 90 minutes. And the manager needs to identify at times who can't keep up with the style of play that he wants to play, because this style of play is very demanding on and off the ball. And this is why some individuals are going to get found out. But with the crop of players that he has right now, they all collectively need to do better. They need to start games better, and they definitely need to finish games better. Because even in the last 10 minutes, I mean, you saw we took the lead in 70-something minutes on the clock. In the last 15 plus the 11 that were added, we looked like we were down one man. So it didn't look good. So there's a lot to work on. There's a lot of positives for once that I'm taking out of a game, but there's still so much work to be done. And I'm just going to wrap it up with, I am happy that we are picking up points as we are not playing bad. We are playing bad. Because last year we played bad and we cost ourselves 6 points. We had 3 of the first 9 when we beat Liverpool. This year we have 6 of 9. So I will take the extra 3 points. Hopefully sooner than later, the performances improve.
Yeah. Andy, are you surprised at the way United have started this season? What were your expectations of us? And then just your thoughts on how we bounced back from that game and who stood out to you generally?
You know, I think I hate to say it, but I think the team did. Like, that's such a cop-out answer and not being able to point somebody. But I think you're right. Like, I think this showed that United will fight. I think you're right. They need to go in with the right mindset from the get-go, control the game from the first minute. Onana makes me, kind of laugh at times. But I do think this was one of those games where it's like Man United know what they want to be and will fight until the 90th to get there. But I think what Staffy said, spot on. You do that against a Big Six team and you will pay the price. But maybe that's one of those things where you taste a little bit of blood early on against the Nottingham Forest and you realize we can't afford to do that throughout 38 games.
Facts. Yeah. Vator, I know you were smiling that whole game probably until the end, but how do you feel about your red rivals right now? Do they look better? Do we look better to you? Do we look worse to you? What are you feeling right now?
Early settings, man. I gave Ten Hag last year as a bly. I'm like, I'm not even going to judge you. I'm not even going to try to determine how great you can be in this league. It's year one. I know what you got to deal with over at United. It's more so judging him this year. And I still need to see more from him, because when I look at the players that he's selected, when I look at the attempted, in my opinion, the attempted style of play, I don't quite see it yet. I think he still needs a little more time to figure it out. But the fact that the players are playing for him, that's what you want as a manager. Like, not one player had their head hanging down. Not one player didn't play to the end of that match. And that's what you want. Like, you get the comeback that you needed. Yeah, I was smiling. I was ready for a cooking if you guys were to lose. But the fact that you guys fought back and got that win is absolutely huge. This next game is going to be so telling, man. I know you're going to have your preview shows later in the week with regards to Arsenal and United. But that to get this win against Nottingham Forest, you're expected to. At home, you're expected to get that. So
Facts.
it's good that you delivered. Now, playing away, and I know Ten Hag doesn't have that best away record. Yeah, we're gonna see what this Arsenal United game is gonna be all about.
No, absolutely. Shout out to my guy Stu, who was at the match. He said we were never losing the match. The realization after the second goal went in became the catalyst of the Eriksen show. He was pivotal in controlling the play. Absolutely. I thought Eriksen was very good. I thought Bruno was very good. For me, even though he scored a goal. I felt I was at the bar. Second one, you kind of felt the momentum switch. I just need to be more locked, like everyone has said. And we'll wrap up really quickly. I did want to talk some other game, probably just move on and save it till next week. We're gonna do this review show every single Monday at 5:30 or 6 p.m. So guys, be on the lookout. Wednesday, we're doing the transfer news show. I think the transfer window closes at on Wednesday our time.
Essentially, September 1st. It's close.
Yeah. Oh, okay. September 1st. So Thursday we're going to do a preview show for Arsenal game. So guys, be on the lookout. There's a lot of content coming out. We're going to do a Man United transfer show, I should have said, on Wednesday. But yeah, be on the lookout, guys. There's a lot of content going to be coming out. Make sure to follow me on TikTok, guys. Make sure to follow Staffy TV on YouTube, as you can see. Make sure to follow.
I'm going live right now, actually.
Yeah, he's going live. So anyone who's watching, make sure to just go over there and support Staffy. My guy Vator, the best Man City content creator in the world. Make sure to subscribe to him. Even though we don't like Man City, we like Vator. You know what I'm saying?
Debatable.
Yeah, we like Vator. We don't like Man City. I'm just gonna stamp on that. And then shout out to my guy Andy. You know what I'm saying? The guy, the man with the plan always. You know what I'm saying? Just greatest Chelsea fan in the world. All of you, everyone who watched and supported for my relaunch, I appreciate y'all. Make sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and we will talk to you guys very, very shortly. Okay, deuces.
Bless.